Kaya, everyone, thank you for joining today. Fantastic to see you all joining in online. We're just going to let some good folk join us, and we will get going in just a moment. Thanks for joining the 2026 National Reconciliation Week Community Briefing. If I could just get you to please, in the chat, let us know who's your mob and where are you from. We love to see where people have dialed in from. So just tap away and we'll say hi in a few moments. But fantastic to have you all online. We'll just give it a couple more moments whilst we're letting people in and catch up with time. Meanwhile, just pop who's your name and where you're from and who your mob is into the chat. And it'd be lovely for us to see where you're all dialing in from today. Thank you. We'll be with you in just a few moments. Okay. Hello, folks who have just joined us. We're about to get going. We're just waiting for a few more people to dial in and then we will get going for you. Thanks for joining the community briefing. We'll be there in a few moments. Hi, Natalia. Great to see you. Anyone who's just joining in, if you'd like to let us know who you are, who's your mob and where are you from. Great to see people dial in from all around the state. One of the perks of having briefings online. So in the interests of good time, folks, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for letting us know where you're dialing in from. It's always great for us to get a sense of who's on the call. For those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person or online before, my name is Jodie Nunn and I'm the CEO here at Reconciliation WA. So it's really an honour to walk in solidarity with many of my colleagues who are on the call today, and of course you, our members, who are dialing in for more information. So we'll get going. We'll just let you know that this session is being recorded because we are, of course, wanting to share this far and wide, so as many people can get involved with the reconciliation movement, and in particular National Reconciliation Week. So for those of you who have just dialed in, and I see one of our board members have joined in. Hi, Jeremy, lovely to see you. Please just let us know in the chat who's your mob, where are you from, and what country you're dialing in from today. So as I said, my name's Jodie Nunn. I'm the CEO here at Reconciliation WA, and along with my wonderful team, who is going to pop up on a slide in a moment, we're going to walk you through a really incredible presentation today, which will help you get prepared for National Reconciliation Week 2026. And what a fantastic theme, all in for reconciliation, or even more importantly, I'm in. So really asking people to be accountable as we go forward with the reconciliation movement. A big shout out to my colleagues, Levi Islam, Francine Bayer, Alicia Bildwell and Sarah Davis, all part of creating a really fantastic program for you to dial into and to, of course, prepare. And this session is all around making sure you're organised for the week, which of course spans from the 27th of May to the 3rd of June, but we're really extending it out this year, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over to my colleague Levi, and Levi's going to acknowledge country and take you through a few highlights. Thanks, Levi.
Good afternoon, all, and thank you all for checking in. Lovely to see where you guys are dialing in from. Levi Islam here, Rec WA. We'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land that we operate on. A majority of us are here on Wajak Buja, here in Bulu, up in Perth. And I constantly recognise and acknowledge the land that I'm on and the elders in the community that have embraced me. And what's so beautiful is I often think about the non-Indigenous contributors to the story and reconciliation. And for me, I reflect back to 1967 and the referendum and how the hearts of Australia opened up and they voted to include Aboriginal people as part of this journey and a part of this nation's story. So I acknowledge our elders that have been kind, this community to me, and also acknowledge the contributors and the journeymen in this story with us. The theme for this year is all in. And what a lovely segue from that referendum into this all in, I'm in for reconciliation. So calling for all Australians to step off the sidelines, jump in onto the field and do something active in this space, which a lot of you guys already are. So if you're here, thank you and welcome, and your efforts are appreciated. So it's not just a journey for Indigenous, First Nations, Torres Strait Islander people to do, but it's a work for all of us to journey on. And the real change, as you can see in that last post, is to do this without guilt, shame, judgment, or any ill will, but it's something exciting, acknowledging our past, engaging in healing, and looking forward to a joint future. The artwork that you'll see, some wonderful colors here, some beautiful themes by Bundjalung artist Otis Hope Carey. He honors the ocean, which is a sacred totem with a deep healing significance. Also a healing totem here on Noongar Boodja. They talk about the ocean being the father's heartbeat. And so when you go to the ocean, it moves and has the same rhythm of a father's heartbeat. So the flowing forms and expanded concentric circles mirror the ocean's current tides, ripples, and the energetic rhythms of moving water. What a beautiful theme. The artwork reflects Carey's commitment to sharing culture, sparking meaningful conversations and symbolizing our collective movement towards change. One rock in a big pond, sending out mighty ripples.
Thank you so much, Levi. What a fantastic reflection. I haven't heard that story before about the father's heartbeat, and Levi knows I'm a bit of an ocean fan, so I think I'll definitely remember that every time I dip my toe in. So thank you for sharing. There's always something to learn. So this year we're really, what I love about the theme is, of course, there's a collectivism to it, but I think there's a real sense of personal responsibility, and that is I'm in. It's really asking each of us to think about where's our circle of influence and where can we have make a difference. And so it's really active participation from allies. We're making a real commitment this year to make sure we're elevating regional voices and local First Nations leadership, and that'll make sense as this program unfolds. We always love to think, even though we have a very vast and broad state, that we can make sure we share those opportunities and create community-led impact. And we are really asking you this year, we've had a very tough start to the year, and I do want to acknowledge the 26th of January and what impact that has, particularly on mob, and also for allies that were there in solidarity as well. I think it was a very confronting experience, and it's still playing out, and we will make sure we keep you safe as part of the journey, and we'll reflect on that in a moment. But we're asking people to say, I'm in, because I think we all know the kind of world we want to live in. We want to leave the world a better place for our children and our grandchildren, and that's a shared responsibility that we all must take. Thank you, Cassie. So this year you will start to see, and you'll see out to 2029 on our National Reconciliation Week journey, a real commitment to the state's journey that we're working and walking towards, which is our bicentenary. Now, I want to do an absolute call out up front that the bicentenary, we know for Aboriginal people, is not a celebration, and for many of us who acknowledge the ongoing impacts on Aboriginal people is not a celebration, but a commemoration and a point in time where we can reflect on ongoing impacts and systematic racism that affects Aboriginal people. And we only need to look at the Closing the Gap report that was released last week to reinforce that. But of course, this year it starts in Albany, and there's been some amazing programs down there. So we really are going to be turning our attention to the Great Southern and doing some important storytelling and truth-telling from that region. And each year up to 2029, we're going to be bringing in our regions and their stories, and we're really excited to embark on this journey. We could not do this program without the support of our incredible partners, and you can see them clearly on screen, but I will shout out 3 new partners this year: the Perth Mint, Fremantle Ports, and the City of Albany, who have come in as brand new partners. So we're really wanting to make a special call out to them and welcome them. But we can't do this work without our partners, and I have a very strong philosophy that all our partners are better at the reconciliation dining table to have a yarn than not. So we make sure that our partners are welcome, and we can only do good work if we continue to walk together. So a huge acknowledgement and thanks to all our partners for their ongoing support. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of the program this year. And the idea of this community briefing is that you will then take this and look at how you implement this in your homes, your community organisations and your workplaces as far as your circle of influence. So let's get going on the event program for the week. As I mentioned before, of course, the 26th of January has really made us think about safety, security and respect. And I really want to highlight the word respect, because we all want to feel respect as we go to public places and come together in solidarity. So we are prioritising cultural security and safety across all our events. We are making sure that we're working with our event venues to make sure there's appropriate security across our programs. We are engaging with WA Police early to make sure community safety is prioritised, and we're doing that in partnership with them. And we'll make sure best practice in safety approaches are being embedded across all our events. So we really just wanted to reassure you, because we know some people have felt really impacted by the 26th of January experience and they're choosing not to come out. But we want to assure you that we are prioritising your safety and, most importantly, your respect as we enter National Reconciliation Week. So a very quick highlight across our program, and I do want to highlight this year, you will see that our program is stretched out over the year, whilst the 27th of May till the 3rd of June, of course, the 1967 referendum being the 27th of May anniversary and the 3rd of June being the Mabo anniversary, are our key dates, but we know we want to have this conversation right throughout 2026. We also always acknowledge the work of our friends at Yokai who hold the Sorry Day event, and they will be doing so again on the 26th of May in Wellington Square, and we really encourage you to engage in them. That's an in-person event and you can get involved and check things out on their website. And then, of course, on the 27th of May, we'll be having our breakfast. And this year, we'll be hosting that in Perth and also in Kinjarling down in Albany. And we have our biggest watch party out of Perth in Nayapali country up in Newman. Of course, there's huge watch parties online, which we'll talk through. And then on Thursday, the 28th of May, we present our Reconciliation Memoirs program, and we've just delighted to share that we've confirmed the venue back at Hackett Hall. It did have a double booking, but they've just managed to release that, so we're very excited to be heading back to Hackett Hall. And then in the second part of the year, on the 22nd of October, we'll be heading down to we'll be in Perth in Kardakumba for our Walk for Reconciliation, and also in Goombarup down in Bunbury for their fabulous walk, which we support. And then on the 25th and 26th of November down in Kinjarling in Albany, we'll be doing our Regional Pathways to Truth program. So let's get going and give you a bit more detail on each of those. So Sorry Day, as we mentioned, is hosted by Bringing Them Home and Yokai, and they do a really powerful ceremony for acknowledging the impact of the Stolen Generations in Wellington Square by the beautiful Maya Maya, which of course is the Stolen Generations sculpture and the beautiful cockatoo feathers. So it's really that national day to acknowledge the strength and survival of stolen generations, and we were delighted last year that the Premier announced the redress scheme at the National Reconciliation Week breakfast, and that was a really important part of the journey. It will be a live event and details will be announced soon. Our breakfast is taking place on the 27th of May, and this year we head back to Optus Stadium in person, and we will be broadcasting nationally again in partnership with NITV and SBS On Demand. That will be available sort of pretty immediately after the breakfast on SBS On Demand. So if you can't make that timing, do not worry, because you'll be able to host it any time over that week if you wanted to have a watch party at a different time. But it is great to tie in when the main event is happening. So as we know, as I mentioned, our bicentennial journey starts this year and it commences in the Great Southern. And of course, we really want to use this opportunity to look at truth-telling unity and action of the Manangaring people. And that'll be a strong focus throughout our 2026 program. You're going to learn a lot about the truth of Albany as a place of first contact. And of course, we'll have some wonderful cultural performances, including a wonderful Iraqi or didgeridoo choir that will open, and you might see a very familiar face as part of that choir. No hints to Mr. Levi Islam on the call. And then we also have our wonderful MCs. Now, many of you know Tremaine, who was our keynote last year, that Now to Next, he was our next voice. And Tremaine will be coming back this year as an MC, coming down off his cultural duties on Country at El Puesto, which is fantastic, and he hails from Wyndham, at the very north of the state, and he will be coupling up with Carla Hart, a wonderful Minangorring woman, of course, hailing from Bremer Bay. So we've got the top and the tail of the state well covered with our representation this year. So we're delighted to be having them as co-hosts. And we will have Naralda Jacobs joining us from, of course, we know her as our anchor on Channel 10, but has done a huge variety of documentary and film work in recent times, and a real advocate for equity, diversity and inclusion. And of course, born and bred Boorloo girl. So we're really excited to have Naralda lead the conversation this year. A very exciting feature this year is the choir, which has just been announced, and that is Midnight Oil's Beds Are Burning is the song for 2026. And there'll be people singing in choirs around the country, and there's lots of information available on the Reconciliation Australia website around this, including song lyrics and the likes. But we've got the choir that everyone will want to join, because we know there's a whole lot of crooners out there in the audience, and that is the Reconciliation WA Choir. And the great thing about joining our choir is that we are going to be welcoming 60 people to close out the National Reconciliation Week breakfast. And so you'll be on stage at the breakfast and enjoying that experience. And so we're encouraging you all to register your interest to be part of that choir. So local Noongar man Kobe Morrison will be leading that. So please make sure when we send you the follow-up email that you have a look at the opportunities for the choir. Of course, we head to the regions, as we've mentioned, and we'll be having our breakfast in Kinjarling in Albany on the same day. So we'll be broadcasting live at the Albany Entertainment Centre. So a big theme, of course, as we've mentioned, is truth-telling with a focus on Kinjarling and its bicentenary journey, and then, of course, acknowledging the Minangorring elders. But what's really exciting is for the last 3 years, we've been working in the Great Southern region on a place-based reconciliation action plan in partnership with Reconciliation Australia, and we'll be launching that plan there with Minangorring traditional elders. We acknowledge the work of City of Albany, of course, in making this happen. Now, this is a free event, so we want to fill the house down in Albany. So we would love people, if you have a footprint in Albany with your businesses or state government departments, please make sure you reserve some tickets for the Albany breakfast. The Perth breakfast is a ticketed paid event, but Albany, we are encouraging really active engagement from the Great Southern community. We will also head up to Neapali country in Newman, and this is thanks to the Shire of East Pilbara and BHP, who have long funded this really important engagement, and we get about 600 people in that wonderful local square. There'll be a free breakfast from 8 a.m. and the broadcast will commence at 9 a.m. and be tuning into the Perth broadcast. So just want to do a big shout out to the community out there, because they also bring all their schools along as well, which is fantastic. So the national, a very important feature of the of the breakfast this year is the wonderful Travis Lovett, who we met just a few weeks ago, who made the trip to Boorloo to check in with Mob over here after the 26th of January. And he, you would know him from the York Justice Truth-Telling Commission, and also that he led the Walk for Reconciliation, or the Walk for Truth-Telling, across regional Victoria into Naarm, and delivered the treaty papers and the treaty request papers to the state government and the Premier on the steps of Parliament House in Victoria. And of course, they've since secured treaty and legislative change, and they're establishing that work as we speak. So Travis is a great friend of Reconciliation WA. He is now leading a national truth-telling walk through from Melbourne to Canberra, and he's going to be arriving in Canberra on the morning of the 27th and presenting a beautiful buka skin, a kangaroo skin, to the Prime Minister to call for a National Truth Commission. So we are going to be honouring his work as part of the breakfast. He's also asked us to say you can sign up and add your name to the Walk for Truth pledge. But we will make sure that he's sending a special message to Western Australia as part of his national Walk for Truth, which we'll be delighted to share with you. I'm going to ask my colleague Francine now to lead in and share with our members a little bit about how you might activate for the breakfast. Thanks, Francine.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Jodie. Appreciate that. So what we're asking you is this year's National Reconciliation Week is all in, and it is an opportunity for you to be able to join us from anywhere across our wonderful state, whether you're at home, in the office, underground, or even out on an oil rig in the ocean. The beauty of the events that we've put together and through our partnership with SBS and NITV On Demand is that you can activate no matter where you are. So consider your locations and consider how you can make this a very inclusive event for all of your staff or organisation or community members. And just on the screen there, you'll see there's a couple of suggestions. So for those of you that might be educators or joining us from schools, or those of you that have children, please raise this up with your school and suggest that they stream the breakfast, because it's a great way for you to get children engaged. You can look at doing it from your boardroom or from your local government. You can host an event. If you're joining us from a community organisation, consider getting your library together, or one of those beautiful big airy spaces where you have great rooms to move around and be connected and be engaged and welcome the community and to connect. You can invite elders to come in. You can invite local Aboriginal organisations or speakers, and you yourself can consider how you can host this event and build your own knowledge and awareness and lean into acknowledgement of country. When you are hosting your watch party, there's so many ways you can be engaged. And I know it's just so easy to think, oh my goodness, we'll just turn the TV on and we'll all just watch it and live stream it. But we can ask you to consider ways that you can activate that I'm in for reconciliation theme, and consider about whether you look at First Nations or Black business for catering. You can get a selection of books in from local organisations. You can look at yarning mats. You can look at bringing some artwork or some other kind of Aboriginal business engagement into that space. You can have a commitment wall where you could download the reconciliation cards and ask people to state publicly their commitment to reconciliation and what they're hoping to achieve as we move forward together. Post the broadcast, as Jodie said. If you can't host at the same time, you can always look at doing it at any point, whether it's in National Reconciliation Week or beyond. And certainly there's ways that, just like we're all doing now, we're all dialing in probably from our own desks. You can share the link, and for organisations that can't move, they can't leave their desks, or they're a little bit camera shy, they can just dial in and have the breakfast playing in the background when you might give them a little kit that they can share at their desk about ways they can stay connected and engaged. We do want you to consider some of those smaller nuances that really help set the scene about inclusivity and recognising First Nations culture. So think about a playlist that you can put together from First Nations. I happened to be at an event last week and Iconics played, and I know she's available on Spotify with an incredible download. And also build your own cultural capacity and consider a local acknowledgement of country. And they're things that we can help you with here at membership at Rec WA to make sure that you're connected and engaged and ready to host your watch party. Jodie, we're going to go back to you now to run through the next events.
Thank you so much, Francine. So we're very delighted with this year's Reconciliation Memoirs programs is to invite June Oscar, or we've invited June Oscar, who's very generously accepted, to join us on Thursday, the 28th of May. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have now the venue confirmed. It's Hackett Hall at the WA Museum, where we've been before. Many of you will know it as the Whale Room or the Mamung Room. So we will be there on Thursday, the 28th of May. Again, this is an in-person and online in the live stream. And I mean, this is the fifth in our series. We've previously featured Fred Chaney, Richard Wally, Carol Innes, our previous co-chair, and of course last year Patrick Dodson. So it's wonderful to have June in the mix, and she is an amazing Barnaba leader from the Fitzroy Crossing area, advocate, filmmaker, and the former Social Justice Commissioner. So incredible woman. And this is authored by Victoria Laurie, who's also done the previous versions of these. And to me, these are truth-telling in books. These are senior leaders who have led the truth-telling movement for many years. And we're delighted that they are they've come to the fore and we've been able to share their stories. So this is a really great one, I think, for in your organisations, for your senior leaders to attend. or you could use it as a lunch and yarn session, because again, this will be live streamed on SBS On Demand. So it's something you might want to pull together, and you can gift your staff copies of the books to read as part of their cultural education. So lots of creative ways to use this as well, but it does happen in the evening from 5:15 to 8 p.m. So please, with your ticket, you get damper and stew, and then you also get a copy of the memoir, which is fantastic. So look forward to welcoming you there. And then we go on to our Walk for Reconciliation. And as you may remember, last year we had to reschedule our walk because the heavens had decided to open, and we managed to call it early, and we pushed it to October. Well, the heavens opened in October as well, so it happened, but it actually, the sun was shining for once. The children arrived for the first walk wave, which was fantastic, where we went to Gallop, for those of you who joined us last year. This year we head and we extend the Walk for Truth at Katakumba. We're really delighted to be working with Botanical Gardens and Parks Authority, and thank them for their generous welcome. Of course, Katakumba is Kings Park, and it has lots of truths in the park that we will be sharing with you, and we'll again be hosting that in Cambrang on the 22nd of October. We haven't got that live as far as bookings yet, but what we're asking people to do is to register your interest. And then once we have that program fully designed and for the waves for you to book into, we will make sure you are the first to receive the opportunity to do so. But there is an expressions of interest form online when we send you all the information post this briefing. And at the same time, down in Goombarra, and we have confirmed that will be Thursday, the 22nd of October as well, that you'll be in partnership with Yakadanju Events in the City of Bunbury, we'll be heading down to Goombarra and a beautiful walk around Koombana Bay. It's a different style of walk to Perth, but it's absolutely wonderful, and we encourage you, if you have staff members down there, to enjoy that time and take them along for the walk to support that local community. Again, you can register your interest for that event. And for our final program of the year, although there's lots of other things that you can do to support around this, including with many of our cultural organisations, is our Pathways to Truth program on the 25th and the 26th of November down in Kinjarling in Albany. And as we said, we're on this journey to the States Bicentenary. So this year we head regionally to Albany, and we'll be working with Mob down there to share their truth. Now, one thing we've really heard, because we've been doing a really important piece of work down there on place-based reconciliation and producing the first national RAP, and what we've really heard is Mob want to have a day yarning and their own truth day. So we're allocating the 25th of November to a Mob only day, and then we will be having a community day on the 26th of November. This is a partnership that we formed last year. Some of you may have come to the Reconciliation Truth Forum last year at Murdoch University, and we're delighted to be partnering with colleagues from the National Centre for Reconciliation, Truth and Justice, Murdoch University and Yokai once again this year, and of course the local community in Kinjarling. Again, please register your interest for this. Again, if you have community or if you have organisation footprint in the Great Southern, I really encourage you to participate in this event. Now we're going to get talking about getting active. So it's a delight to hand back to Francine, who's going to talk to you about, as members and non-members who are on the call, this is how you can get involved. Thank you, Francine.
All right, so here's the fun bit, everybody. Here's where the ideas and energies come to the front, and we start talking about ways that you can start getting those juices flowing within your organisations or communities, and how you can be activated and all in. But before we do get into that, I do just want to pay a quick acknowledgement and recognition to our Street Banners project artist, Melissa Sunfire. So we have closed. They closed on Friday, purchasing the NRW street banners, and we fly those across multiple locations across WA during National Reconciliation Week, as acknowledgement of emerging Aboriginal artist and talent. And as you can see, this beautiful Marumpa artwork by Melissa is going to be visually stunning. The great news for those on the call is, if you did miss out on getting a street banner this year, and then please make sure you pop it in your diary so you don't miss out next year, is that this artwork is displayed on a number of pieces of merchandise that are small limited edition quantities, which we will talk through a bit later on. But we do acknowledge Melissa and her beautiful artwork, and we're so proud to be spotlighting that this National Reconciliation Week as well. So the other way that we also like to connect, and I know I'm keeping you all hanging on, is volunteer opportunities. A lot of the organisations on the line, you do have corporate volunteering, and we would love for you to reach out to us and talk to us about ways we can get your team activated and engaged. It takes a village to deliver National Reconciliation Week, and we can't do that great work we do without the partners involved, the members on this call, but also without those volunteers that lean in and show up. Being a volunteer isn't hard. Basically, whatever skill set you'd like to bring to the table, we'd love to connect with you and have a chat about, whether that's in the lead up to National Reconciliation Week or actually during the week itself or even post. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the ground support. So it doesn't have to be set up, packed down and engagement with people. If you have a skill set around even marketing and communication, digital, event planning, anything that you'd like to support us with to help us deliver these events, please reach out and have a chat with me, and we'd love to see how we can get you and or your organisation involved in volunteering. You do get a great t-shirt as well. So for the members on the call, we love you and we thank you so much for your engagement and how you're all in for reconciliation. So you will be receiving a digital toolkit where you can proudly share your engagement with National Reconciliation Week. Currently, we are under early bird registrations and you had your discounted tickets to all those events that Jodie's just run you through. So if you are a member on this call and you haven't received that communication, please reach out to me post this briefing and I can sort that out for you really quickly. You also get the opportunity for us to come to you and speak in the lead up to or past or look at ways we can activate within your workplace, whether it's in a morning tea you're hosting or an art show or anything creative like that, which we can discuss in our exclusive Activating All In sessions that we'll be hosting with our membership community. So there are ways where we'll jump on a call like this, just have a little yarn. You can say, help, we're getting a little bit stuck. We can't quite get anyone past the morning tea phase, and I can give you some ideas and suggestions about how you can activate all in within your organisation or your community group or even your home. We welcome anybody to have a yarn with us about ways you can bring it to your dinner table as well. And of course, we do have the exclusive Member Matters I'm In edition, which will be coming to your emails in the coming months, which will again share other ways that you can stay connected, engaged, and some local Black businesses that you can support to help you on your journeys. The other thing that we have here is your exclusive NRW activation packs, which our members receive. So for any individuals on the call, genders or morts, and I will caveat that it's not too late to join. You can still join us as an organisation or a member, and I'll come to that and take advantage of these offers. You'll get a social tile that you can share on your social media platforms, acknowledging your support for reconciliation and your valuable membership with us. You'll also receive a little goodie bag, which will have some education and learning resources to you. For Ginger and Morts, that'll include the beautiful pin of Melissa's artwork that we last year created with Clothing the Gaps, and we'll be doing the same again this year, as well as a little bit of a yarning bookmark, which will just help you with some conversation starters and ways to stay connected and engaged. For our organisational members, likewise, you'll receive a similar pack, and I'm sure that next slide is going to pop up in a moment for you, where you will have a resource kit that you can share internally and externally with some key messages and themes, because we want to make sure it's not just you and your RAP working group that are connected to I'm In or All In. We want you to promote that message to your entire organisation and as well as your circle of influence. So we will share with you that key messaging. Our fantastic Marcoms teams is putting that together so that we're sharing a consistent language and showing our support across the state. You'll also get the learning bookmarks, and the artwork from Melissa will be turned into a lanyard. So you can wear those with pride around the office and have everybody asking you what looks so good around your neck. And you'll be able to say, it's my NRW activation pack. So it's pretty exciting things coming your way. A really important change for everybody to take note of this year is we've listened to the feedback we've received over a number of years around the NRW t-shirts. And this year, Reconciliation WA is not supplying our members t-shirts. So we understand that in past years, we're looking at that over-consumerism and how we can be more sustainable and environment friendly. And we've heard your feedback loud and clear that you want something that you can wear all year round. And so wearing a t-shirt just for one day or 1 week doesn't support that ethos. So this time what you can do is you can download the artwork from the Reconciliation Australia or Reconciliation WA website, and then you can go and have it screen printed onto a t-shirt and then co-brand it with your logo, with maybe your RAP messaging packaging with your artist's feedback on the back of it. You can add it to existing t-shirts you've got. You've got lots of different ways, and a few more ways that make it a little bit more environment friendly, as we said, but also transferring that theme to all year round, so you can wear these t-shirts all year round. So we encourage you to consider utilising a black business if you do want to download the artwork. Otherwise, yeah, we encourage you to kind of consider how you can be all in for the theme, but utilise these t-shirts all year round. Okay, so this over to Alicia now, our marketing and communications manager, who's going to talk you through the incredible digital toolkit.
Thanks, Francine. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to connect with you today. So the National Reconciliation Week 2026 Digital Kit is our free all-in-one resource, and it's there to help every West Australian school, organisation and community group plan their week of activities. It will launch in early April and is designed to make participation really simple, meaningful. It will have guides, templates, media assets, the t-shirt files, which Francine just ran through, and reconciliation cards ready to use for any sort of events you might be holding, maybe classrooms, workplaces or yarns around your kitchen table. Also, another important date to note down is from Monday, the 26th of May. We're inviting people across WA to help launch the NRW with a shared digital acknowledgement of country. So this is a unifying way to honour the traditional owners and recognise ongoing connection to country. This will be provided as a social tile for you to promote on your social platforms, but you can also record your own creative video or, like I just mentioned, use the template included if you need support getting started. And again, this year, which is wonderful to see, is the translated resources will be available in 10 different languages thanks to Reconciliation Australia, which just makes reconciliation more accessible for culturally and linguistically diverse communities. We're really excited about the 2026 merchandise range, which will also launch in mid-April. And this features the stunning artwork by Melissa Sunfly from our National Reconciliation Week street banners. The collection this year will include the very popular clothing, the Gap pins, some beautiful message cards, lanyards, and notepads, which, just to mention, are all at very accessible price points. For any organisations on the webinar today, these are ideal for any events you might have, conferences, or even corporate gifting throughout the year. Now, this is a special message to our educators who might be on the webinar today. If we have any of you joining us today, please pop your email in the chat. We'd like to send you some educator-specific resources, including any classroom-ready materials, some guidance and support on how to get your school ready and community ready for the week, National Reconciliation Week. All right, thank you. I'm going to hand back to you, Francine, to continue.
Thanks, Alicia. Promise we're coming to the end, but I just wanted to just quickly touch on to anyone joining the call today that aren't members of Reconciliation WA. We are a member-based organisation, and we ask you to join the movement and be bold and brave and be all in for reconciliation. Your membership supports and enables the work that we are able to do all across this state and to connect in our education and truth-telling programs, as well as in return we provide you with all of these education, resource and guidance materials to help your organisation on your learning journey. We have an incredible arrangement of masterclasses and programs that will deepen your knowledge, your understanding and your commitment to reconciliation, as well as digital resources and lots of other assets and support that is available to you. If you're an individual, a family individual or a family member and you'd like to join us, we'd love to welcome you along as a supporter to the movement as well. In terms of what the support that we provide to you is all these incredible resources as well that you can share at your dinner table, at your conversations, or just internally you can build your knowledge and activate your allyship and feel connected to a like-minded movement of people all doing greater good and working towards a more unified future. So please do consider becoming a member of Reconciliation WA and reach out to me, and that way we can start you on this journey and have you connected and engaged. And just one little quick note as well, Jodie did mention up front that we welcome 3 new partners to Reconciliation WA's National Reconciliation Week this year, and we offer that opportunity to a number of our member organisations. So if you're sitting here going, we'd love to increase our profile as well across the state, please do reach out to us and we can have a yarn about potential partnership opportunities as well. Okay, so the exciting bit is Nexteyes said tickets will go on sale. Well, guess what, members? They already are on sale. So I know that some of you have already activated and taken advantage of that. If you haven't, as I said, please do reach out to me. And if you're on this call and you're not a member and you want to take advantage of getting in early, there's still time. It's until Friday. I can make sure I get that information to you pretty swiftly. But for the general community, do not fear. Tickets for you go on sale this Friday, the 27th of March at 10 a.m. So you can set your little pocket watches and put a little prompt into your phone that kind of starts singing, maybe do it to the Beds Are Burning song so we're getting all in the spirit. And you can jump in online at 10 a.m. this Friday and get those early bird tickets or get those tickets to the number of events. And remember that there are a number of free events as well and watch parties and way that you can engage. So it's not all about turning up to the breakfast of the memoirs. Of course, we welcome you there, but we do encourage you to also consider how you can activate and be all in within your workplace or your community group. And we ask you to register your interest for those events as well. Exciting news. We are now ready to take any questions from the wonderful people on this call that might kind of have something that is, oh, I can do a little analogy to the Beds Are Burning, a burning question that you'd like to ask us. Please do pop it in the chat or pop your little hand up using the icon at the top of the screen there, and we will do our best to respond. Anyone? I can see Natalia laughing, so she might have a question.
Jeremy, I haven't warned you that as a board member, you have a responsibility to ask a question during community briefings. That's very unfair without notice. You can see that there's a lot to digest, folks, but what we do is we will send you all a copy of this presentation and all the respective links post this briefing today. So you'll have it all at your fingertips so you can go through it again and extract what you need to get out. But I do encourage you too to tune into one of Francine's all-in sessions, because I think often the creativity comes across a number of folk and it gives you some good stimulus for getting involved. But you can contact Francine's just popped her numbers into the in the chat. Thanks, Francine. But folks, if there aren't any questions, we'll give you 20 minutes of your life back. Jeremy, thank you. You're interested in the November Albany event. I'd like to know what I can do there. Absolutely, Jeremy. We will definitely update you. But also, if you register your interest in the EOI, which you will receive, you'll be able to hear a whole stack more information on that. But folks, thank you very much for making the time today. We do appreciate it. As you can see, there's a lot on. And we really encourage you to get involved and really lean in this year. I can't think of a more important time to unify and stand together in solidarity. Really, really important. Scott, yes, you can book a table for the breakfast. You will get that. It's actually already available online for members. You can access that, but the email will be coming out shortly for you to be able to access all the live links. So that will be, keep an eye on your inbox and you'll be hearing from Reconciliation WA shortly. But after all, folks, thank you very much for making the time. We really appreciate it. We hope it was valuable. As you're checking out, just give us a thumbs up or a love heart so we know you're happy with what we've shared with you. And really appreciate you making the time today. And remember to stay all in. It's really important. We need you on this journey with us, folks. So thank you very much for your efforts and your commitment. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for all the kind words.